Hi guys, it's Becky, and I wanted to dive back into my curated bead box. This was the Persian rug one, which honestly, like I wasn't sure that this is would be one of my favorite boxes of the year, but it turns out that it kind of has. And let me tell you, I have not been able to stop thinking about the way that these like chicken foot Baba Yaga spacers look with these larger and smaller beads since I made this bracelet. And so I want to make a necklace to go with it using these same beads, these same spacers. And there aren't enough spacers for me to do like a full length necklace like that. So we're going to do part of it with that. And then I'm going to finish it, the rest of it, using this SilverSilk leather cord. It's basically, this one is a dark leather with this copper wire knitted around it, and it gives it this really great color that goes perfectly with these beads, and I think it's going to look fantastic as a way to finish this. So I'm going to be using this for the rest of the length of the necklace, and I have some where's my findings? I have some SilverSilk findings that I'm going to use with that. We're already mixing metals using brass and gold, so I'm just going to toss in some copper findings. And the pipe chain ends also fit perfectly on the leather cord too. So I'm going to be using these to finish it on this. And I'm not sure if we're going to be doing it long enough to fit over the head, or if I'm going to need to add a clasp to that. So I'm pulling 4 of those out for the time being, and it looks like I'm going to need to place an order for some more of these. Yeah, that's going to need to be what happens. But anyway, so I wanted to go ahead and use the focal that came in here too, and some of our beads all together for this. And I think I'm going to be adding some of these beads to go with it, just to add like a little more warmth, a little more fire without actually going all the way into the red section. So I've got the spacers, I've got the focal, I've got my finishing stuff. The tools that I'm going to be using are the same ones I usually use for things. I've got my I'm going to use tweezer nose pliers, probably, maybe chain nose. I've got some flush cutters for cutting the wire here and for cutting my my pipe chain. And I think what I want to use for stringing, because I am going to be doing some stringing, is some copper color metallics, soft flex. I'm going to use the medium size. And let me grab some, where are they? I knew I was missing something. I'm going to need some crimp tubes for this. There we go. I got a couple crimp tubes sitting right here on my desk. And they're just the 2x2 soft flex crimp tubes. I like them the best. All right, so we're going to get this started. I'm going to start, should I start stringing now, or should I, maybe I'll build the focal first and then I can string stuff. I'm just going to pop a little jump ring down here for attaching the focal to the string when I do it. Actually, let's pull out the round one, and grab one of these oval ones, just because I've got some oval ones and I like using them sometimes. Yeah, let's use the oval ones. There we go. All right, so where was I? I've got all that stuff. All right, so I've got some head pins that I'm going to be using to make my focal. I'm just going to make some dangles and attach them to the bottom portion of this focal using my beads and my things. I forgot about my other tools. I am going to be using some round nose pliers for that. Go. I had them all put away in their little case. So I want my heaviest bead at the bottom of the dangle. And I'd like this to be a little bit shorter on the edges. I'm going to be using the spacers for the most part on the necklace because there's only like 16 of them left, so I'm going to be using them for that. So let's do a dangle right there. And then I'm going to want this one, small bead, and this one for the next one, so that as they're hanging, they are not going to be bumping into each other that much. I don't want them to fan out as much as I want them to drape. So I'm planning this out. Let me see, and I can make changes if I need to. Okay, yeah, those will fit nicely next to each other because they've got the rounded bumps. So let me get the next one. Let's use these. And these are those orange ones with like the drizzle coating on them. It looked really cool. And then we had these like mushroomy color pearls. And these like amber ones. And I'm just going to add one more mushroomy pearl right here so that that one will fit in there better. Okay, so I'm going to make one more of each of these for my dangles. And then we'll get them attached to this. And then I'm going to need a dangle for the middle. And I think that's just going to be one of these and one of these again. So dangle for the middle, just to keep it actually, you know what? Let's get it a little more cohesive. Yeah, okay. Dangle for the middle is going to be all three of them. All right, and this one too. All right, so we're ending up doing 3 of these ones because one of them is going to be for the middle, 2 with just the larger orange one and the mushroom colored pearl, and one that has all of them plus 2 pearls. So to make the dangle, I'm going to bend this head pin over. I have the bottom of it resting on my finger so that it doesn't like slide down while I'm working with it. And I'm just going to bend this 90-degree angle, measure with my finger. You can measure with your sole if you want. Cut that off. And then I'm just going to use simple loops for my dangles. Close that up. And now I've got a loop. So let me finish making these into loops, and I will attach the loop. Here, let me show you how we attach the loop. I will do this for the center, because that way I'm going to attach the loop here on the middle. I might need to swing this open a little bit more than that, actually. There we go. That fits so nicely right there. So that's going to dangle, and then I could not have made this any longer. I literally could not. All right, so that's going to be the middle of my focal. Let me make loops just like I did with that last one. Then I'm going to open them, attach them to here and close them up again, and I'll meet you back here once all of these are attached to my focal. Okay, here we go. I have all of my beads attached. And one of the great things when you're doing one of these dangles that have the multiple holes on the attachments is if you've got beads with multiple sizes, alternating like the large and the small beads means they'll nestle together better and they'll hang a lot better when you're doing that. So that's why I was planning it out like that for the way that they would hang. And so they would all fit, because some, you know, if you've got like nothing but just large beads, then it just kind of fans out and hangs funny and it gets in the way of itself. And I just lost my my jump ring, so I'm pulling out another one because I don't want to go fishing underneath my desk right now. It's weird, right? All right, so if you haven't seen like the oval jump rings, their hole is on the elongated side, which means that a lot of the stress that is placed on it for things is on the side that doesn't have the join, the opening. And I think it just makes them a little more secure, to be honest. Why are you not going in there? I think I need to open this up a little bit more. I always underestimate how wide I need to make my jump rings when I do this. All right. So now that we've got that, I'm going to start placing some of my beads where they should be going. And I'm going to be doing the same pattern that I used for this, where I've got the smaller end of these spacers on either side of the pearls and the larger end of the spacers on either side of these beads. And I'm going to have this one be right up against there, so I don't need a spacer there, but I will need one here. I'm just laying it out so that I've got them where I want them, and I can just grab them, and for my stringing, just go along there without having to search for. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then 7, 8. Search for these things. Let me direct this in this direction since we're about to run out of room there. There we go. So that'll be one side of it, and then we'll do the same on the other side. Let's move you guys out of the way. So yeah, I just love the way it looks with like the ins and the outs. It's so like, it feels Baroque to me. And you know what they say, if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. Hey, I'll be here all day. Just kidding. I will eventually go away. You go over there on that side of it. There we go. That's why I lay it out. It's to make sure that I have enough of everything. All right, so I am ready to go. And since I am going to be using the pipe chain for the rest of my length, I'm going to go ahead and attach one end of my beading wire to my pipe chain closure. And then I'll add it to this when I start figuring out my length. So let's just do a little bit of wire. That should be more than enough. All right, so to attach my beading wire here, I'm going to grab one of these, and these are copper too. Copper crimp tube. Put it through here. Oh, and you know what I'm going to be using for crimping? My magical crimpers. I forgot to mention that earlier. I'm just going to slide this down. There we go. This way I don't have to use a bead stopper. I have bead stoppers, but you know, I have to do this step anyway, so I may as well do it before I start adding beads. And for magical crimpers, if you haven't seen them, they have this concavity on the inside of them. So you rest your crimp tube inside of it, give it a smoosh, and it flattens it out somewhat, but you end up with like a ravioli looking shape with some sharp corners. So you rotate it and compress it again, and then rotate it and compress it again. And you just keep going around and around like that until this smooshes those flat corners down and makes this nice smooth bead. And that's why I don't use crimp covers, because I don't need them. Anyway, let's start stringing this guy. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end up getting more of these spacers, because they were just like, when I opened it, I was like, what are these? What am I gonna do with these? And then when I was playing around with them and with the beads, I love the way that they work with these, especially these differently sized beads like this. It just looks so cool to me. I love that for us. All right, I am gonna just grab my clippers and clip that wire there so I don't have to come back and worry about it later. And I'm gonna keep stringing. Just keep stringing, just keep stringing. But yeah, this is the order that I'm going to string this all in. So actually, I think I will go ahead and fast forward for you guys until I get it strung to the other side. Because this is the order that it's going to be in. And I don't know that you guys need to watch this whole thing. Boom! Look at that. I love it already. That is just gorgeousness to me. Anyway, let me get this other one attached to one of these guys. Boop, boop, boop. All right. I'm still trying to figure out if I want this to be long and over the head, or if I want to just have, you know what, I'm going to use a clasp. Let's use a clasp, which means I'm going to be doing a little bit of measuring. That's fine. So I've done the same thing on this side. I put on my crimp tube, added my end, and I am going back through my crimp tube with my beading wire. And I'm just going to take this beading wire through those, have it come out of this spacer, and close this up. Let me make sure that we've got some movement, because I don't want it too tight. All right, and my loops are even-ish. And now we're going to go ahead and smoosh it. Ravioli time. That's for Zach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going in both directions a little bit so that I can make sure that I get all the way around, and it's done. Like, literally, if you got to practice it a little bit first, but once you get it, it's like literally the easiest crimping that I've ever done. There we go. Well, that's why it's facing the wrong way. All right, so I'm going to get one of my SilverSilk ends secured in here. And with these, oof, you may have to widen them a little bit before you put your ends in. And it's really easy to do that with your narrow pliers. You just kind of stick them in here and then push them open. And that just widens the jaw a little bit. I'm going to preemptively do that on this other one too. There we go. And for closing these, I'm going to go ahead and use my wide nose pliers, or my flat nose. I don't know what they're called. They're nice and flat and smooth. So I'm going to be closing with that. Once I get that done, let's move these two out of the way. I'm going to smush this right in there. Just pushing it back as far as it'll go. And now that it's in there, I close this and clamp it down on there. You can use glue if you want, but I find you don't actually need it for these types of things. There we go. That is secure. All right, I am going to put this around my head and figure out the right length of leather for my comfort in how long I want this necklace to be and where it should be dangling. Okay. And that is where it's going to be the right length for me. But I am also going to be using a lobster clasp. So I'm going to move up to here and cut it right there. You know what? Some of this is going to be taken up. Nope, that's right. Because of the clasps. So let me get this clasped on that side, and then I will find the middle of those and cut it, and then we'll get the other connectors on there. Or let me get this on the connector. So this end goes in here. I'm going to close that. Someone had asked if the SilverSilk is hypoallergenic, and like the pipe chain is not great for people who have latex allergies, but the wire that is used is copper wire, regardless of the color. And my sister has metal allergies. She has, I've made her copper ear wires, and she was able to wear them with no discomfort whatsoever. So I'm pretty sure that this wire would not bother people who have metal allergies. So it would be a really great way to end, or to have the part that goes behind the neck be behind the neck for someone who has metal sensitivities or metal allergies, without having to put a chain on there. That even if it has a coating on it, the coating might come off, and then they wouldn't be able to wear the thing that you made them. All right, bloop, and bloop. I'm just pre-widening these again like I did with the other, and I'm going to add, there we go, just pinching the end to get any sticky outy bits of the knitted wire off of the end, and so it's not sticky outy anymore. You don't want it to be pokey. All right, here we go. There's a little bit of wire sticking out there. I'm just gonna clip it. There we go. And the other end. Same thing. this attached with a jump ring. And then this necklace will be done. But yeah, I haven't been able to stop thinking about this, and now I'm going to have a necklace to go with it. And like, let me just say, before I started doing jewelry making, I probably would have avoided anything like this because I'd be like, oh, it's too orange. But I have definitely come to love orange, and I'm really hoping that doing more stuff with yellow will do the same thing for me. Again. Closed. And now I just need a little loop on this end for closure. Let's grab... What the heck? Let's do it. Let's just grab a big old loop. That'll be fun. Because I've got a big old lobster clasp, so why not have a big old loop? It balances it. This is a 19mm jump ring. And it's big enough that I can twist it open with my fingers. All right. Now you don't have to go fishing for the loop when you are clasping it behind your head. And I am really, really pleased with it. Like I said, I wasn't sure that this would end up, I didn't know that this would end up being one of my favorite curated bead boxes, but so far it has. And I am really, really happy with it. If you missed the video that I made this bracelet in, it's one of my bracelet bashes. I did a whole bunch of single loop memory wire bracelets, and this was one of them. I'll put a link to that video in the description if you wanted to go watch that. But if you don't subscribe to the curated bead box, it's well worth it. I think it is one of the more affordable bead boxes out there. You usually get a variety of bead sizes, you get some findings, like all of these except for the SilverSilk bits and my clasps came in the kit, like even the head pins that I was using for this. And it's a great stash builder because you just get a bunch of beads in different colors, and they're usually glass beads. That's how they keep the costs down. And I have a 35% off coupon that you can use if you're not a subscriber. If you wanted to give them a try, just your first box. You can get it for a little bit cheaper. Try them out, see how you feel about it. But I'll put a link to that in the description as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this and have a great day.